Hey guys, it's Lisa and welcome to my channel. I've been thrifting these little figurines all throughout the winter, and my plan was to make them over and sell them in the spring with just regular spring decor and also for Easter decor. Some of these could even be used in your Valentine display with the birds and such. But I'm just going to give, I've already taken all these outside and spray painted them with a clear coat. You just never know which of these surfaces is going to accept the paint well and which ones aren't, and especially when you're working with a slicker glass surface, you want to make sure you give that a good coat of clear coat. You could even use a primer, I guess, but a clear coat works well. So now I've just chosen these colors. The first color I'm using is called Maze by Waverly. I'm not sponsored by Waverly. These are just the colors that I'm using. And I think this blue here is agave. So what I did is I just divided my little animals out, and after I clear coated them, clean them up. I give them a real good cleaning in hot soapy water and dry them well, and then put a clear coat on all of them. And then I've just chosen which ones I want to paint white and which ones I want that blue and yellow. I do highly suggest using chalk paint, because chalk paint will stick a lot better to these kinds of surfaces. I have definitely used just another kind of paint, and here I'm using just a craft paint. But now when you use a craft paint, you've got to just let it really dry well. I wanted this bunny to look like a chocolate bunny. That's why I had to just kind of mix a paint that would work for it. And I used mostly the burnt umber, and but then on these other little animals here, I'm going to use a lighter brown. And again, I just mixed those colors. I didn't happen to have any chalk paint that was in the color that I wanted. So with these, I'm just going to have to be extra careful and make sure that I seal them good. Now, most of these animals, I'm going to use a wax over the top of, whether it's a white wax or an antiquing wax or some other colored wax. But this particular one here, I just want it to look this shiny brown so that it'll look like a chocolate bunny in my display. So after all these animals are dry, then I go back and put a second coat and let that dry well also. And after that second coat of chalk paint dries, then I'm going to go back again and put a clear coat. And the reason that I put that clear coat on is because some of these waxes that are wetter will try to pull that paint off, because chalk paint is water soluble, and it once you get it wet, it's going to wipe right off if you're not careful. So I like to put that clear coat on before I'm doing the waxing so that I don't pull any of my initial color off. Now, the ones that do better with these waxes are the ones that have a lot of detail in them, especially with this concrete wax. And here I'm mixing the Waverly Mineral Chalk Paint with about a little less than half and half. I've got a little bit more paint than baking soda here, but you just dump a little. I don't even bother mixing. Or measuring. I just dump a little in there until I feel like it's the consistency that I want. And I don't want these overly textured, because if you get them too textured, you lose a lot of your detail. And, these little bunnies have a lot of detail. Now, I'm making these look like a concrete finish. I don't know if I mentioned that, but these gray ones I want to look like concrete. So, again, I give them a couple of coats of the Waverly chalk paint, or any kind of chalk paint, but you want this at least close to this color. The mineral works really good to look like a concrete finish, but you want to use some similar chalk paint. And then once these dry, these are going to get a coat of the white wax, and it's really impressive how much it looks like concrete when you're finished. Now, all these little animals are very cute without doing anything with them, but they're just not in style as far as decorating. And if you paint them these solid colors like this and use the wax on them, then you just update them, and they look really good in your decor. So you just you take them from being just something that's just cute to something that looks really pretty to decorate with. And so I'm doing that on all these. The funny thing is, I had all these little animals spread out on my countertop before I painted them, and I showed you all of my animals, and then we had customers come in. I had one man come in and bought 3 of my little figurines before I even painted them, so they won't be in my finished product here. But that's good. I didn't have to touch them and was able to sell them anyway. One of my favorite things to do is make over thrifted items because I love to go thrifting. My store is closed on Mondays, and my husband and I go thrifting most Mondays, and we just enjoy it. It's our work, but it doesn't feel like work. We just love going. Once I get all these finished, I'm gonna show you some little vignettes, some ways of decorating with these little items, and show you how that you can use them in your decor. Now here I'm just brushing that white wax on with a wax brush and wiping it off. And so then it's going to stay in those creases, but just give the raised part that you're wiping off will have more of a milky gray color, or whatever color you're working with at the time. This is where that clear coat is very necessary, because it will keep this from wiping your paint off when you go to wipe this wax off. So you want that clear coat first, then 2 coats of your chalk paint, and then another clear coat before you do your wax. So I'm just putting the white wax on some of these little figurines. The yellow ones get the white wax, and the blue ones get the white wax, and the gray ones. And then there'll be a couple here that I'm going to use an antiquing wax on. So you can just kind of play with your surfaces and see what you think looks well. I think one of these, the birds that I do, I first go with a white wax, and I didn't see enough change there. So once that dried, I went over it with an antiquing wax, and this was a white bird. And I felt like it was too dark, so I went back over it with another white wax. And then I finally got the look that I was going for. So if you don't like what you get, just let it dry and try again. Because most of the time you're going to love the look that you get out of these. Now you can use a clear wax. And with a clear wax, all you have to do is just put you a little, maybe a teaspoon of paint. Just add a little bit of paint until you feel like it works enough. Now, I've mixed them before, I put it on and didn't feel like I got enough color, and then I'll just add a little bit more. So you really can't go wrong here. I'm doing all these at once because I want to get ready for my spring decor, and I like to do these ahead of time so that they've had time to dry well and cure well before I bring them out for spring. And then, like I said, some of these birds I'll use in my Valentine's Day vignettes, and then, like I said, the others will be ready for Easter when I'm ready. But I like to do a lot at one time like this because it just goes so much faster. You have that paint already mixed, and you just keep painting, and it's a way of adding a lot to the shop at once. It really isn't very profitable for me to just get out a craft and do it and then put away the stuff. I prefer to do my items in bulk so that I make the most of my time. Now this video is a little choppy, or maybe a lot choppy, because as customers come in, I skip that part. So I'm having to skip a lot here, but what I'm doing right now is just adding different colors of wax over the top. And some of these I'm using colored wax on, and some I'm using just the clear wax. Here I'm using clear wax, and just giving this one a concrete finish. I tend to do a lot of these in the concrete color because I feel like it goes with any style of decor. But I know that come spring, people are going to want to see some color, especially in some of these birds and things. And it's a way of setting up a vignette and adding, putting the colors together, just having those little pops of color. Now I noticed that I said clear wax a while ago, and I'm not using clear wax on the concrete finish. I'm using white wax. So none of these, I haven't used just clear wax on any of these except the clear wax that I added color to. Now this little bird here had lots and lots of detail. It had really deep detail. And so that's a great opportunity for some of these waxes. I used the antiquing wax on this one, and this is the one that, although it shows up the detail a lot, it was just way too brown for me. So after I get that coat on here, then I let it dry and do a coat of the white wax over it. I still wasn't really happy with it, so I added a little bit more white wax and a little bit of elbow grease and rubbing it hard, I was happy with the look that I got in the end. I hope I've inspired you guys in this video, and I hope that you'll go out and thrift some of these items yourself and give them your own special touch. Thank you for watching, and I'm going to leave you guys by just showing you some of the vignettes that I set up with these animals.